Hey everybody. So I went to EuroCon and I got a key cord with my name on it. You may have not heard of EuroCon. I hadn't, but it's something that's been around since I think 1999. So it's been around quite a while. And as the name suggests, it's a convention. So I was invited technically by Mrs. Atari, Sandra, who is married to Mr. Atari, Simon, who you might know is the inventor of the My IDE device that goes into the Atari. Mr. Atari does everything Atari. I've seen him and his wife on several trade shows, and we talked a little bit. And Mark knows him, Erwin knows him, Lactobacillus, and Costardo. Costardo should make more videos so that I can remember his name easier. Anyway, I got an invite to that, so there's an admission fee, which is which I paid, but the EuroCon thing is like a whole weekend, starting on the Friday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I couldn't make all those days. So my plan was to be there on Friday night, then drive home, and then the next morning be there again on the Saturday morning, and then I had other things Saturday afternoon. So that was sort of the plan. So they very kindly gave me a discount on the admission fee, which was very nice. But I didn't know what to expect, so I was planning to go with Lacto and with see, there we go again. Castardo, Mark and Erwin. But Mark couldn't make it. Mark and Erwin were planned to stay at a hotel and stay for the entire weekend. I think Erwin is the only one that eventually stayed the entire weekend. I was offered Mark's room because he'd paid for it anyway and he couldn't get the money back. So thank you, Mark, again for giving me a place to stay. So I talked to my wife about it, said I'll be gone from Friday to Saturday, and that was fine. So I stayed at a hotel. Now, these days, hotels are just like restaurants. They're not what they used to be. Not saying that they're bad, but if you went to a hotel these days, you can still go to a hotel and get that hotel experience. You have a big front desk, and you have like elevators and rooms and people doing the servicing and all that, and there's a lounge and blah 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 blah. That's just like the standard hotel. Like a standard restaurant would be, someone meets you and he seats you, and there's like people in suits waiting on you, and bringing you menus and all that. But all of that has changed. So this hotel, hotels and restaurants are a bit more relaxed, different formulas now. So I came into like what was essentially a bar and the dining area and the breakfast area, but it was essentially a bar. There was a DJ there. There was a cabinet there, much like my own, with an arcade in it, so all the classics. There was an NES with 3 crappy games, but there was an NES, So it was all pretty hipster, and there were actually men with beards there, so there you go. So I felt a little bit out of place, but I realized, hey, if I'm gonna feel bad about not being in place here, I'm an old man. So I decided to like it, which was pretty easy because the people were very friendly. So, but you get a very tiny room, which is very obviously made to meet a specification, but it's not extravagant luxury, but it's very small. It's like crammed into the place. Yeah, 30 years ago you would have thought, wow, this is a crappy hotel. Now it's actually it has everything you need. It had a very nice bathroom, but it was very small. Anyway, I'm talking about the hotel now. It was It's about EuroCon. So I met Erwin. We had a little beer, I think. I can't even remember if we did. Yeah, we did. And then we walked over to the venue, which was in Nijmegen, this time in the Netherlands. This EuroCon moves across Europe. I think it's in the UK as well, but it's also in Vienna, or it's in Linz, or it's in, I don't know, it's in it's been in many places. So I walk into this room where the thing is supposed to be, and the first thing I notice is it's quite small. And I'm thinking, how am I going to spend? We were planning to be gaming mostly. So I'm thinking Manchester and Blackpool. I'm thinking, a hall full of arcade cabinets, but we're in a room lined with tables and with consoles and even board games. So it's kind of a shock, basically. But nevertheless, we had fun, and I learned during the rest of this event that the EuroCon is basically just a group of friends, I think no more than 50, who meet up every year, I suppose, and just have fun together, play games, and they trade some, and they eat together. And I'd seen like the calendar, the things they had planned, and they had actually sort of had the vibe of like a group activity, which I thought, I want to go to a convention, but I don't want to partake in group activities. I don't feel like I want to be part of a group so much. I'm pretty much a loner, basically. So, but I spent the evening having a lot of fun playing sensible soccer against Erwin, and playing all kinds of new games as well. There were a lot of homebrew games on the video pack called Robot City, which was a lot of fun. I played some games on the Commodore 64, which was there. I played a Vectrex game, which was a homebrew game. There's just lots of fun. Basically, we had a lot of laughs, and time flew by. And I think we had to leave the venue at midnight or a little bit after. So we did, and Erwin and I walked back to the hotel and had a beer and went to sleep. And the next morning there was a little bit of a trade thing going. So on the way there, I noticed that there was a CEX, like a computer exchange in my country. And it appears there are several of them. I didn't even know that. So CEX has shops in my country, which I thought was a good thing. So we went in, and the prices were shocking. I see a lot of my friends from the UK bring their stuff into CEX, but I never hear them buying stuff there. And now I understand why, because especially the hardware, I could buy there was a used Switch for 365 euros, which is like almost new. I could buy an Ouya for 45. There was an Ouya. Or Xbox controllers for $45. I thought that's just new price, maybe even over. So I didn't really get it. The games that were there, they were a bit cheaper, but I didn't feel compelled to buy anything. So I guess CEX is really something to bring your stuff into, but you don't buy stuff from there. Maybe is that how it works? I don't know. I thought the prices were outrageous. Although Erwin said that the games were cheaper than they were at Game Mania, which was a store which was just a little ways down from CEX. And that's mostly secondhand games. So I walked in there. I tried to buy a game, but it was one of those situations where you reach the point of sale, and there's like 2 points of sale, and the guy is helping someone at the other end. So I'm standing here at an empty place. It's just the same desk, really, and someone gets in line, in the other line, and he starts helping them, and then the next he starts helping them. So I thought, I'm standing here, you can see me, that he just skipped me. So I thought, shove it. The game that I was going to buy was Pain on the PS3, which I thought was a nice game, but I actually tried it at the convention, and it's a crap game. I think it's one of the release titles, so the controls are quite clunky. The game is buggy. You know, there's goals that you're supposed to reach that you can't. So, boring story short, I left the store without buying anything. But there's something that I want to show, which is the reason why I made this video, which is pretty damn amazing. And respect to Simon and Sandra, Mr. and Mrs. Atari, and this guy called Rob, who I think he designed the packaging that I'm going to show you. Amazing. Respect for that. They made a memorable a memorable event just by doing that. There was a goodie bag. Let's start there. Now, the goodie bag, it was actually an original 1990s Atari bag. Apparently, they met someone who used to repair STs. I think that's how the story goes. And they asked, "Do you have anything left from those days?" She said, "Yeah, sure." And then this guy gave them a bunch of these bags. So this is actually sort of a collectible bag. I'm not the biggest Atari fan, so if there's anyone foaming at the mouth over this bag, just give me a shout, and you can buy it off me. The event was all about getting high scores, so there's like a ton of games, and there were like sheets there, and you're supposed to write down your scores, and I think there's even it's Sunday now, so the event's still going on. I think there's a prize that you could win. I doubt that I won anything because there's always someone better than me, and it's that's fine though. But there were a number of multiplayer games. Now, to play multiplayer games on some consoles, you don't have to do anything special, but on the Commodore 64, there's like a 4-player game, and you have to have some sort of hardware to connect 2 extra controllers, which apparently there are solutions for that. And this is a game called Shotgun, which if you go to shotgun.drwuro, WURO.com, you can download this game. It's a multiplayer game. It's top-down view. You walk in a sort of a maze. You pick up a gun and shoot the opponent. And the one who does that the most in 5 minutes wins. If it doesn't sound fun, but I tried it with Erwin, and it's hilarious. This game also frogs. A little bit more complicated. You have to catch flies, but there are also battle modes, and this is called Frogs at drwuro.com. I'll put the link. Free downloads up to 4 players if you have the hardware, and otherwise, I suppose you can just play 2-player. So we played some of that 4-player deathmatch and this frog pond game. Again, well-made games. They're really cool. I already mentioned Robot City on the video pack made by a man, at least sold by a man named Dieter, who is German, and video game cartridge number 71. I didn't buy it because although video pack is one of the systems that I actually owned, I have the game recorder. I can play all the games that I want. Not this one, though, because, that would be actually piracy, stealing, like a game that's being sold now. But I didn't feel like I liked the game. It's a maze, and there's like tanks going around with a shield, and they have one hole in their shield. So you have to get behind them where the hole is and shoot them. And they shoot you. And there are 4 of them and 1 of you, and you have to sort of go through the maze, shoot all 4 of them, and then go to the next level, and things start speeding up. And it's actually a very clever game. If you're interested, go look for Robot City on Video Pack, and you'll be able to buy it. You'll get the cartridge, the inlay, and the manual, but not a box. So the cost is €29, at least at the convention. I think that's the standard price. So I played it. Nice game. Also, this made me happy. It's one of these foam planes. If you don't know what this is, then you were born after I was born, probably. These, I used to get these at the, I'm going to open it up, at the, this is just new, they're still being made, so, foam planes, I used to buy them at the cigarette shop. We had special shops where you bought cigarettes and tobacco and all that, and, you bought them for like a quarter or 50 cents, I don't even remember. The foam plane, power prop foam plane. I can remember once buying it's just a foam parts like this, and you put it together and you make it into a plane. Mine is the Fokker Wolf 190A4, which is a Second World War German plane, and it consists of parts. And I'm not sure if this is the wisest thing. That's it. That's the parts. And I think you have to push this in here. There's an opening. So I can remember once buying one of these. And there's usually one body per plane. And I bought one once that had like two bodies, which basically it was a bomber. And I opened it up. It's very lightweight. And I had two bodies in my package. And I threw one away because I thought, who needs two? And then I came home realizing that I actually did need the second body. So I ran back to the place where I threw it away. But I never found it. So that was one of my sad memories, I guess. But that's how I remember these things at all. And then there's the nose cone. This goes on here, which I think weighs it a little bit. But I have to attach a propeller to... Oh, wait a minute. All right. Propeller. Oh, shoot. I don't know if this is interesting. Oh, no! It fell. I'm just going to push this in. I think it's just for show. So, like that. And like that. I push it in. Oh! It's easy to break this, I think. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. There's something... I don't think the hole is big enough. Oh, there we go. Yep, there we go. Finish the plane. How about that? And it actually works. I love that. That was cool. So this brings back memories, and memories is what it's all about, isn't it? Now, I'm gonna show this because this was there as well. This was in the bag. It's a sticker sheet. It's just from IKEA, but it's all video gaming characters. It's called Slettult. IKEA. All stickers, you can put them on stuff. Nice, isn't it? I thought that was a nice touch. But the coolest thing of the whole event was this. I'm showing it here. This is a unique Atari 2600 video game specific to this convention. It's a video game, as you can probably tell, that resembles and actually plays as a Game & Watch game. The packaging reminds you of that, you know, the two buttons and the... Sorry. It's called Give Me My Pancake. You're like a busboy, and you have to bring pancakes from the chef to the customer, and he just keeps popping out pancakes, and they sort of hop over to the other side, and you have to support them at the right moment. So it's a lot of frantic to and froing. My high score was 87, which wasn't the highest. But it's unique to the convention. Simon programmed it. It even has one of those little stands. You know, the Game and Watch games used to have a little stand, so you could use it as an alarm clock. It doesn't have like a battery cover graphic, but I thought that was a nice touch. Game. It has a box protector. It has all the Atari design, as you can see. It has a screenshot. Catch all the pancakes, feed the always hungry EuroCon logo. That's the little guys from Berserk. Is the and don't get fired when you've dropped pancakes after 3 times you're fired. Use joystick controllers. Yeah, game and music by Simon, also known as Mr. Atari. Box art by Robert Jansen. I met him. He was at the convention as well. So they worked like a year to put these things together. The cool thing is that each box was individually named. So this has my name on it. And not only that, the game itself, when you start it up, it has my name in the bottom of the screen, and everyone had that. Like all of the guests that were there, or at least who paid for being there, have a personalized Atari 2600 video game. This thing is unique in the world. There's not a second one like it. So I thought that was really cool. It's a very playable game too, and it's fun to play. I've played it, and I'm gonna get out my Atari 2600 Junior to play this game. Really, really fun and really, really cool to have this. So I'll open it up. It even has a manual. I thought the box protector was a nice touch as well. You're not a serious collector if you don't have a box protector. That rhymes. You're not a serious collector if you don't have box protector. I'm holding it up wrong. 2600 cartridge with a little label on the end as well. I think this is supposed to be like a website that has the manual, or the manual has the ROM numbers even. I don't know what that will bring, but there's sort of a list of the games that were produced. There's a tiny little manual, which looks the same as the thing itself. I haven't even read it, so all right. Gameplay, speed, eggs. The game has 2 Easter eggs. They can change the gameplay or help you out. Can you find them? If you do, don't post them on social media. Thanks. Left difficulty switch, right difficulty switch. Choose BB and AA if you're a real pro. And it's the back, some screenshots. I'm going to have to look for these Easter eggs now. But it's a very complete package. It has everything in it. And a little inlay-ish thing to put the game on so that it sits right in the package. I thought it was really cool. Give me my pancake. And they actually plan to eat pancakes as a dinner on the Saturday. And I came home and we had pancakes for dinner as well, which was a total coincidence. But I liked that. Then there was also a little trade show. It was very small. Here's the thing, right? You go to Manchester and there's like trade and the Blackpool and all that. There's like traders. And there's a lot of the same stuff, and you're trying to look for something special, and the really special stuff is hard to find, right? This is like a bunch of, let's face it, it's a bunch of nerds. And they put 5 or 6 tables together, so it's really small. But each and every table is crammed with super interesting stuff, Really rare MSX games, video pack games, Commodore 64 stuff, a few, some board games, there was some really, really rare and interesting stuff. And there was nothing, you can't come out there with like Duck Hunt, and try to sell it. It won't work because that's not what your tiny public wants. So it was a very, very interesting layout. I wasn't looking for anything, so There were something I was thinking of getting the Robot City game, but I decided against it for now. Maybe, you know, if I feel bad about not buying it now, I can always find it and buy it later. But for the moment, I didn't buy it. What I did buy though was this, the Commodore 64 Compendium. It's just the one part. I think there are two parts to this story. It's basically a coffee table book with Commodore 64 games, screenshots. This is this is Iridium, of course, with some text. This was a Kickstarter project. Tony Cruz's name is in here. I saw very quickly. Very nice book. Downside is that it's like this fold. If you're gonna do things like this, you shouldn't. It makes it hard to see the entire picture because it's pretty tightly bound, and it's hard to see the center of the picture. So you never get a real overview for the whole thing. But I thought it was pretty cool having like a compendium of some of the Commodore 64 books, games. And I didn't have this. I knew of its existence, but it's $30 for the two and $15 for the one now, and it wasn't perfect nick. So I bought it from a guy called Matt. Matt, if you watch this, thanks a lot. I'm very happy with it. Also, from Matt, because I'm such a fan of the Wipeout series, I bought from him Wipeout 2097 for the PS1. It has a manual. The box is okay. The disc is okay, but it doesn't have like the inlay. So if you have an inlay for Wipeout 2097 for the PS1, then please get in touch with me because I'd like to make this complete. So I've got a few Wipeout games, and I thought this was one of the better ones, and Matt gave me a really nice deal. So thanks again for that, and I guess it also concludes my video because I don't know what else to talk about, but that's okay because I'll have something to talk about in my next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.